in absolute flow, fluidity, play fast, every move, bing, 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 get an edge on the clock. That's how he's going to put the pressure on his opponent.
All right.
And I like this opening for Magnus.
Going into a Rui Lopez.
Closed position with no trades, yes. I think this is just what the doctor ordered for Magnus in a must-win situation.
The first set of trading happening right now.
And he's gotten into actually a mainline position without the tempo H2, H3. This Chigorin variation. And so, well, black's in a mainline position without rook E1 on the board. Rook E8, we can imagine knight C3. And again, Magnus grabbing a pawn, fidgeting, and looks like he's going into a thing. D4, D5. Very good. Just gaining some space and saying to Ding Liren, okay, I'm going to get a central wedge, and we're going to play a very, very long game because I'm going to keep as many pieces on the board for as long as I possibly can.
No trades.
No trades.
But keep the edge on the clock.
As well.
Don't play perfect moves. Don't look for perfect moves. Look for enduring moves when you're in this setting. Just keep the game going, and your opponent knows if he doesn't make the draw, he's going to be devastated. He just won this game. It's his golden opportunity. So just let him beg for the draw as long as you can.
And we see that Magnus, again, his strategy is very, very clear. Keep as many pieces on the board for as long as possible. Knight on A5 was misplaced. Knight B7, seeking to play knight C5. And if you play B2, B4, A5.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
So, you know,
too many trades.
Exactly.
G4.
Yeah, baby.
And giving up his light-squared bishop.
I was
knight
expecting
to G3.
Bishop C2, keeping the pieces. I don't like this decision at all by Magnus. Take that bishop on D3.
That's the money bishop in this opening.
Play B4 and queen B5. And black is for choice.
Yeah, that is a great idea. B4, your idea, yes.
Why would you?
Bishop B5 is a threat.
That bishop?
So rook E1 played.
You need that bishop in the. I mean, Bobby Fischer would be like recoiling, giving up that king's bishop.
In the classic Rui Lopez.
No queen trade, says Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see that.
Rook A7, Rook C7, or Rook C7, Rook C8. Double up on the C file. Hit that C2 square. Ignoring the king side threats. Knight F5, no big deal. He can just drop back with his bishop or even capture on F5. Magnus looking terrible at this moment.
He senses that he has given away those light squares. How does he dominate the dark squares conversely? With black having such a great dark square pawn formation, that it doesn't seem very likely. Bishop to E3, doubling rooks, and C2 has now become sensitive.
The problem is that for Ding Liren, his moves are very natural. He doesn't have to really think at all about what's going on here. He's just played G6 to stop any knight F5 potentials or now being ruled out. And
Magnus is slightly behind on the clock, so the flow is not in here for him either. And it's that giving up that bishop, those light squares, B3. Now he's trying to secure the light squares
I like this
and
move
put a knight on C4.
Knight C4, at least he will block the C file once his knight gets to C4.
I like this move too, but the thing for Magnus, I think this game, it's not the problem with the clock. It's his kingside attacking potentials. He hasn't gotten anything started yet,
No, it's not
and
even
meanwhile, Ding Liren has just got total control of the queen side. But how is Ding Liren going to prevent this idea of knight C4?
I don't think he is. I
Just
think
moving
he's going to just go
he can put
bishop B5.
And then bishop B5. Yeah.
Just to nudge that knight away from the blocking the C file.
And that will be a great idea because if we get the C file, then we can start invading. So knight C4, bishop B5.
He's going to have to play knight to B6.
Knight A5.
Whoa.
A5.
What is the knight? Where is the knight on A5?
Big surprise for ourselves. Okay, queen B8. And now Magnus is saying queen d2. Magnus is reaching across the board, wants to play queen takes b4, but rook c3.
Yeah, rook c3 looks like a
Jen.
money move.
Exactly.
And there it is.
Now you can't play knight e2. Don't forget that knight on g3 is protecting the pawn on e4. And by the way, bishop d8 is on Ding Liren's agenda.
So a3 played, anticipating that if bishop d8, we can take on b4.
Exactly.
A mini trap, too, by the way, is it sound if you take on a3, knight c6. Knight c6, interrupting the defense. And he has done it.
He's
done it. He's daring Magnus now to win an exchange.
Magnus has to play knight c6.
Knight c6.
Magnus has no choice.
And there it is.
The situation, the match demands him to play this double-edged
But
move.
we're also going to win e4, aren't we? We got so much pressure.
Rook takes c6.
Rook takes
d6.
c6.
Bishop takes c6. Rook
E4
takes
and
a3.
b3 are both in capture.
Exactly, and knight takes e4, and that's a great light square bishop. So rook on c3.
But the
takes
position
c6.
is just blown up, and certainly this is good news for Magnus.
By
as
the
he
way,
wants.
I think
needs
Ding
this.
Liren missed that move, knight c6. He's got to recalibrate his emotions right now. He's so
he had
close to
everything
the
under
win.
control. It
He
seemed
had
like
everything
so
under-
awesome for Black, and now it's just
Exactly.
like going to be wild.
A little mayhem.
He's nervous.
He
He's
is
nervous.
nervous.
He wants to find the move that get the draw. By the way, there's going to be a bishop g5 at the end hitting the knight, so not making it easy for you to get that e4 pawn in the variation.
Whoa,
So
he
he's
did it
taking
in a
Bishop
different
takes. And a bishop takes.
a discovered attack against the queen, but queen to d3, Jen.
Try to
and
get more pawns and
rook
you don't get
takes
E4.
A3. Well, I don't
No,
know.
there's a
I don't
B3
know. There's
hanging.
B3 is hanging, that's right.
Yeah.
b3's hanging. So what do you do here? Queen,
'Cause
queen
D-
a5.
If queen d3, we have queen takes b3, better than bishop b3, allowing rook b1.
Okay, very crucial decision here. And once again, the clock times very hard.
Pretty close, pretty close. 2.5 minutes for both sides. But you wouldn't blame anyone for taking a little bit of a think here, because this is perhaps the money moment of the game.
Absolutely, the critical. Agreed. Okay.
Queen a5 is apparently his best move.
Queen a5 looks boxed. to
Hitting
me.
everything.
Yeah. Queen a5 hits the bishop, hits the pawn on a6, hits the pawn on
Oh,
a3.
Magnus Carlsen after
Magnus
a deep thing.
Carlsen.
There
Any
it is.
surprise that he finds the move
The best move in the position when he needs to.
in blitz. This is the flow he wants. Put the
Okay.
pressure, and now big decisions. E4, do I get E4?
Well,
What
bishop
about
takes
B3?
E4 walks into G5. G4, G5. I can't play bishop. I gotta play bishop B3 or bishop B7. I think I like bishop B7 best.
Because bishop
Actually, be careful because you open up the position.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
G5
he's
does
taken-
not win because of bishop A8, a fantastic retreating move.
No.
with the idea of queen b7.
With the idea of queen b7, Magnus has to be on the lookout. If he plays g5, a magnificent retreat will be just fine, and it's
and
being
he's doing
played.
it.
And he found it.
Wow.
He found the
And
move.
this move shocked Magnus. Magnus
Oh,
thought
boy.
G5 was a winner. I miss bishop A8.
Retreating moves
move.
are the moves. We talked about that.
What a
We've seen it in the
move.
Sinkfield Cup. It would be amazing if this is the
Queen
move that does it. He's not winning,
D7.
however. He is not totally winning. It's a sacrifice. And Magnus took on a6, though. That one is worse for him as knight
Now
d5.
knight D5 and black is back in business.
And black is on top. Bishop a7 played.
very quickly by Magnus.
Instantly.
Magnus is playing these moves like he had it all
but
figured out.
what happens on...
He's played queen c7, by the way.
Yes, best move.
But
He's
that
finding
knight-
all the right moves.
that
By
now.
the way,
knight's
G5
coming
is
to
hanging.
F4. Bishop-
Knight to F4.
Yes, knight to F4.
Queen to D7.
Ooh, lots of threats. Magnus in real trouble.
Queen takes C1.
And he's allowed this position, guessing that he's
H2.
perfectly fine, but
Two rooks
this
for a
is
queen.
lost.
But hold on, there's still an A3 pawn on the board, guys.
Yes, there is.
Wow.
How can this possibly be good for white? Huh?
And bishop takes G5 and knight F4.
Lots of
Mates
threats. It
on
turns
H1.
out that he is okay as Magnus, but a draw is not enough. Remember, he must win. So magnificent defense is not going to get it done, and Black's pieces look amazing.
He's
just
coordinating.
captured-
Everything defends each other. There's
And
not.
capture on D6 now. bishop f4. Ooh, Magnus,
threat.
queen f8.
97
alert.
though. Whoa.
Counter mate threat. Rook
Stop
H1
retreating
mate.
move. It's
A
rook
mate
H1
on
mate. How do you stop
H1.
it?
How do you stop Rook
How do you
H1
stop
mate?
it? That's a spectacular shot. Winning the game. The game is over.
Queen D8 just spite check. King G7.
Spite
King
check.
G7. Rook H1 is mate.
Two amazing retreating moves, and it's over. Magnus can resign.
We
There's
have to
nothing
play
to stop
F3.
it. F3, bishop takes
F3.
F3. And that's
And
it.
that's the same thing.
That's
That's
it.
it. Oh my
What
goodness.
a game. That was even.
Ding
oh,
liren.
man.
Oh.
What a breakthrough for this fine young man.
He's
This
going to beat
game-
Magnus 2-0.
This game was phenomenal.
Fantastic. Simply fantastic.
What?
The best. This is chess at its
I can't even
best.
remember the first game, the first three games of the playoff.
Wow. That's
And
it.
there it is.